Hello, Helldivers and viewers alike. My name is John Limited, but on the galactic front, I am Demon Fox 939, Hell Commander of the SES Prophet of Liberty. Now, regarding to my YouTube short that I sent out a little while ago, I am actually planning on destroying the Automaton Legion once and for all, but I cannot do that without you by my side. Now, this will be a bit of a long-term operation. I call it Operation Lights Out. First, we need to gather troops. We need to influence Helldivers across the galactic front.
War waits for no one. Are you
The first three phases will regard Operation Free Space in a way, but first we need to take Mox and fully take back the Trigon sector. Then we have to take all of these planets, starting with Resin. Then we head to Vega Bay. Then we split up and see what we can do with Wasat. And then X-45. And then finally, Mesa. The final sector on the Automaton front for this phase will be on the Andromeda sector, where we have to take Martar. Then we go to Marfark, Martail, then Charon Prime. Phase 2 of Free Space of the free space will be in the Gronk sector on the Illuminate front, dealing with the Elysian Meadows, which is the only planet that has to be liberated. Then we go to the Solarius sector, where we take Erota, then Reef, and then the Rictus sector, Parsh, then Kurth Secundus, then Grafmir. Then we separate. One goes take on Iroh and Valmox, while the other takes Oasis and Genesis Prime. And finally, on the Morgan sector on this front, will be Regnus and Mog. Now, by then, Airhead might be able to actually know Airhead might be figuring out what's going on with a certain number of Helldivers. But disregarding that, we will actually focus on taking the Borgus sector, starting with, and freeing Darius as soon as his plan is successfully defended. Then one segment goes on and takes out Gar Heron, and eventually taking out Grand Errant. And the other segment will continue on taking out Pandion 24, and then Gakrus. Now, Phase 4 will require our united effort to take Omicron and get the E711 required for the DSS to fire the Star of Peace. And then we will focus on the Lycia sector, where we have to take Chuhe, and then the Hydra sector. Now, I know many Helldivers will be pretty pissed off at this, but I say we take the Hydra sector for good measure, and we take out Menkent, then Vernon Wells, and finally Aesir Pass. Now, the Automatons will most likely try to retaliate, and all three fronts will try to figure out what the hell's going on. So they'll try to take back the territory that they have lost. So I'm actually thinking of possibly making two different battalions, an offensive and a defensive. And finally, for Phase 4, we'll take the Gellert sector, taking back Mentoria because that's highly required for us. Then Blistica, Zania Prime, and finally Zosma. And then the final phase, we isolate Cyberstan, taking out Aurora Bay. By taking out Aurora Bay, Mekbuda, which will to self-liberate Vendimitarix Prime, and also we take out Murga. Zosma being liberated, and this planet already being self-liberated, and also raised to the ground, so they won't be able to take it back anytime soon. Will be forcing them to actually supply each other back to back, and then we strike at the heart of it all and end the enemy once and for all. Now, for this operation, I require a certain group to be formed. This very armor, this very warband that was the first warband to be actually made, a premium one, the Steel Veterans. The body armor must be a highly authorized. The Dynamo, the Steel Trooper, and the servo-assisted body armors are without exception what you need to wear if you want to be part of this group. I would call it the Cybernetic Counteroffensive Honor Guard. We will not rest until Cyberstan is destroyed. Now, it's highly recommended that you wear either the Honor Heirloom cape or hold on. Let me just try to find it for this shit to load up. There we go. Hold on a second. You either wear the Will of the People or the Honored Heirloom. You have whatever cape you want. You can rock whatever equipment, stratagems, or main weaponry you want. But it's highly recommended. No, it's highly advised that you wear the body armor of the Steel Veterans. I hope to see you on the battlefront soon. John Limited, out.